Listen carefully.
Right now I'll ask you to make a choice.
Do you take the red pill and enter the realm of digital marketing? Or do you take a blue one and remain in illusion together with traditional, less efficient methods of promotion and communications?
I want to show you the right way. I'll give you all do's and all don'ts. No boring or unnecessary stuff. Only things that are truly important. There are 50 hours long digital marketing courses, 75 hours long digital marketing courses, and even 100 long digital marketing courses. Honestly, who has time for that?
And even if you watch it all, what will you remember?
It's pointless. I give you the essence.
For you to focus on the most important aspects of digital marketing and advertising. For you to generate more revenue and reduce costs. For you to understand how to conduct business in a digital world.
This is a condensed, fast-paced course. No time to stop.
Learn a lot and learn it quickly and efficiently. What will be covered?
Master all of that within 5 hours. This is my unique proposition, and that's 12 different segments. And you will know how to squeeze the most out of each and every one of them. I strongly advise you to take the red pill. Wake up and grow your business. Enroll in this course. See you inside. In a world that is data-driven, and in which all of the company's decisions need to be based on data, digital analytics is a place to start a digital marketing course. If you fail to monitor what is happening on your website, what users do, and what users want, you will have a hard time selling your products and being successful. I want you to learn how to understand and use digital data for your advantage. I want you to optimize and make business decisions by using insights from collected data. Remember that knowledge is power. We will start this chapter with 2 videos about using the most basic statistics to understand the performance of your website. You will know how website analytics work, how you should set it up, and what data you can analyze. We will use Google Analytics as an example, which is free and the most popular tool for website analytics. We will see it in action, use some custom reports, and learn how to draw conclusions. After that, I will cover events and conversion tracking. You want to know precisely how set up and monitoring the most important measures of success, like sales, like sending contact forms, or visiting particular websites for more than 1 minute. Then, in the next video, we will cover user behavior tracking. What we want to achieve is to find out exactly how users are using your website or app, what they click, how they scroll, what parts are omitted by them, and what tool would be better to illustrate this concept in practice than Hotjar. In 2 closing videos, we will talk about the importance of monitoring companies who visit your website, trends, and also the image of your brand online. This will allow you to make decisions in real time and monetize new opportunities, or react before something becomes a serious problem for your brand. There's an old marketing saying that every $50 spent on marketing is wasted, but you never know which half. This is not true anymore. Let's find out the right $50 in the next video. The website of your company is one of the most essential tools that you have in your digital arsenal. It can contain information about your company, news, services you offer, presentation of your team, and contact options. It can even serve as a point of sale if it is an e-commerce website. Because it serves so many purposes, you want to know exactly whether it works as expected. To start analyzing your website, you must follow a couple of steps. First, you need to choose a website analytics tool. Then, you need to set it up correctly to collect data from your visitors. And once you have data, you need to analyze available data inside the tool and make decisions based on it to improve the results. Let's start with choosing the website analytics tool. As you imagine, there are thousands of available tools such as Google Analytics, Adobe Analytics, Mixpanel, Heap, and more. There is no definitive answer which one will be the best for your company. It depends on the budget you have, data you need, and other tools that you use. However, if you don't have specific requirements, Google Analytics is the safest bet. It is free, it has a ton of options, and it is by far the most popular out of all our website analytics tools. That's why we will use it as an example.
To start using Google Analytics, go to the website analytics.google.com and log in into your Google account. Once you logged in, click on the Setup button and follow the on-screen instructions. As an account name, you can use any name you want. You can use data sharing settings without any changes. On the next screen, you want to specify whether you want to measure web or app data. We will choose the web. Then fill the name and the URL of your website, industry, and reporting time zone. Then accept all of the agreements and set your email communication. Then you will be placed inside the Google Analytics panel. The final step is to set up tracking. Just click on the settings icon, tracking info, and tracking code. If you have an IT team in your company, just copy the code and send it to them to paste in the head section of each page of the website you want to track. Instead of pasting the code into every page, if you have Google Tag Manager added to your website, which is used for managing different codes, including website tracking codes, you can ask to add Google Analytics tag there. Alternatively, if you have access to the source code of your website, you can paste it yourself. It can be done in any content management system like WordPress. In your dashboard, go to Plugins and then click on Add New. Search for headers and footers. Click Install Now and then Activate. Now if you go to the settings, you see Insert Headers and Footers tab. In this tab, you can paste any code, including Google Analytics tracking code, and it will be added to the header, body, or footer section of all of the pages of your website. Once you paste the code, click Save. If the code was correctly added to your website, you will see the change in the status here within 48 hours. Once the installation is complete, you can start the fun part, which is analyzing data and drawing conclusions. We will use Google Store data as an example. On the left side, you have a lot of available reports, like reports about your users, reports about the most popular pages, reports about sources of your website traffic. I will focus on the most important ones for most businesses. Each report has some standard options. You can save your report in Google Analytics to use it later. You can export it to different formats like Excel if you want to analyze it there. You can share the report with your colleagues, and you can check suggestions from Google on what can be improved on your website. Each report gives you an option to choose the date range that you are interested in. Also, you have an option to add a segment if you want to display data only for part of the users who are interesting for you. For example, only for new users or only for users who are mobile visitors. Below you have a chart or graph that visualizes the date, and of course you can adjust the view to your needs, like change chart type, change date range, or change data that is presented. Most reports also have filter option, and we will take a closer look at it later. The idea is to include data that is interesting for you and exclude data that is not interesting for you. Also, in reports you have a table with data and all kinds of statistics. You can sort it based on different statistics by clicking on the header. Let's start with the Audience tab, where you can find out who your visitors are. Overview gives you the general information. The most important stats are the users, so basically how many people visited your site, sessions, so how many times your site was visited by the users, and one user can generate multiple sessions. Page views, so how many different pages of your website were displayed during all sessions, and during one session the user can see multiple pages. Average session duration, so how much time users spent on your website by average. You want all of these metrics to be higher each month. Another important metric is bounce rate, which shows you how many people visited your website but didn't take any action, such as button click or click on a link. And of course, you want this statistic to be as low as possible. Also, you can check from which countries and cities your visitors are. Other interesting stats in the Audience tab are age and gender, and devices breakdown. To see age and gender data in the new account, first you should enable marketing and advertising reporting features, which will be also useful when you start advertising on Google Ads for remarketing purposes. Just go to Demographics Overview and click the Enable button to turn on advertising features. As I mentioned, you can check all this data for any period of time you want. You can change it in the top right. You should track all of the statistics that are important to your business and monitor how these statistics change month by month. What is the seasonality and the influence of your promotional campaigns? As a starting point, you can select data for the whole year. You could even use Compare to option, which will display data for the previous period too, in this case for the previous year. It will help to check whether there is any seasonality. Click Apply and also change the view to month, because daily view may be too detailed. Once you choose data you are interested in and the period, it's time to draw some conclusions. How to do that? For example, you can see that overall you have less users this year than in the last year. You need to think about what could be the reason. Maybe you spent less money for promotion. Maybe you added less content to your website. Maybe some competitors stole some of your users. Or maybe you had some issues in delivery of the products and you lost some clients. The other thing is that you have the best results in terms of users for both years in May and November. You need to ask yourself a question: why these 2 months? As this is Google Store data, more users in May probably mean that they want to buy for Kids Day, and in November, users want to buy for the Christmas period. You should focus more efforts on these 2 months to monetize your products. Let's consider other examples. If you would see that the number of users is going up significantly in comparison to the previous months, it may be due to the advertising campaign you ran, or due to the new content that you added on your website. So if it's working, you should consider doing more of that. You can change the metrics by expanding the dropdown on the left side. For example, bounce rate. If you have a high bounce rate, for example above 60%, it may be an indication that your website is not intuitive to the users. You may decide to rebuild the site and improve user experience. If you would switch to the Age tab and see that the change for the particular age group is much higher than the average change for all groups, for example, you can see that 65 plus segment is growing. Even though the general trend is negative, you may try to monetize this fact and prepare more products or even special section on your website for this particular group of users. But as all of these stats we covered in this video are statistics for the whole site, you can see in an overall trend or direction that something good or something bad is happening on your website. And to fully understand what exactly in which part of the website and what to do about it, you need to dig deeper, and that's exactly what we will do in the next video.
In the previous video, we covered how to check the most important statistics for the whole site about your audience, like users, sessions, page views, session duration, and bounce rate. This will show you the general direction where your website is heading. In this video, we will focus on the more detailed view.
To check the performance of a particular page of your website, go to the behavior from the left panel and then Site Content, All Pages. You can see that there is a list of all pages. To find a particular page quickly, you can type the name of your page in the search bar. For example, if you have a page about hats, just type hats and the search icon. You can see 2 pages were found. More advanced filters can be found under Advanced. Here, for example, you can exclude any pages from the list, or find a page which starts or ends with particular words. You can also combine multiple filters by adding another dimension or metric. Dimension is an attribute presented in the text form, so page title is a dimension. Other dimensions, for example, are location of the user or language of the user. Metric is a number, a data for the dimension, so the number of page views or the number of users. For example, you are interested in any page containing Hatsworth, but only if it has more than 1000 page views. So you click to add a metric to the filter, and the metric name is page views, and it has to be greater than 1000. So you apply a filter, and you can see that only one page was found. Filters can be found in different parts of Google Analytics, so you should know how to use them, and the best way to learn is to practice. Once you find data you are interested in, then again you should draw a conclusion. For example, if you run a shop like Google, you can see that the apparel section is one of the most popular. Add more products to that section, so there are more visitors and therefore a better chance to sell something. If you have a contact page on your website, and you've noticed that it has a drastic decrease of page views in comparison to the other months, but at the same time the statistics for the whole site are going up, maybe a link to the contact section is broken, maybe something crashed and the page is not displayed correctly, maybe you change the location of the link to the contact section on your homepage and it doesn't receive the same amount of user attention. The other example may be your blog. Imagine you run your cooking blog, and the posts with vegan cake recipes are the most popular. You should write more about vegan cake recipes, because it is very interesting to the users. And if you are unsure which page the stats are about, you can click on the icon next to the page and it will open in the new window. Another important section in Google Analytics is the Acquisition tab. Go to the All Traffic, Channels, to check what are the sources of your traffic. Organic search is the traffic from the search engines. So you sell shirts with alligators. Someone types in the browser, buy shirts with alligators. Your website is displayed and they click on it. Direct traffic is when someone types the address of your website directly in the browser or from a bookmark. But direct traffic is also a traffic that has no other source connected to it. Referral is a link to your website that is placed on other websites. Social are the links from social media. Affiliate is any traffic that comes from your affiliate partners. Other is the traffic that has a source connected to it, but Google don't know how to classify it. A lot of traffic like that can be an indication that you have tracking issues. Display are display advertising you bought. Paid search is the search advertising that is visible on the search results. Click on any of those sources to see more details. How can you use this report? If you spend a lot of money for a particular source of traffic, for example on advertising, but you have very little traffic from it, you should reconsider your investment. Of course, you should also look at the sales from it to make a decision. And reverse, if you have a lot of traffic from social media, but you don't spend much on running your profile, maybe you should invest more into that channel. You've seen some reports available from the left tab, but they are pretty restricted in terms of customization and receiving exactly what you need. For example, some metrics or data may not be available in a particular tab. That's why you should learn how to create custom reports, where you will probably spend most of your time inside Google Analytics. Go to the Customization tab, and then to the Custom Reports. Click on the new custom report. Here you can name your report, for example, Users and Sessions per Month, Mobile Users. Then you can add any metric you want, and remember that metric is a numeric data, so we type metric users. We also want sessions. Click on Add another metric and type sessions. Now we select the dimension, and this is an attribute we want to use to break down our data. We want to choose month to see the trend, so we add dimension month of the year. And also, here you can filter out any traffic which is not interesting for you. We are not interested in desktop users. Click on Add Filter, search for device category, choose Exclude, and then Desktop. Click Save. The report will be displayed. You can choose the period which is interesting for you. In the table you have data displayed exactly how you want it to be presented. It is a real-time saver. All of the saved reports will be visible in the Custom Reports table. You won't have to create them from scratch each time. In the Resources section you can find the most important metrics and dimensions you can use, as well as a couple of examples of setting up custom reports.
Every respectable analytics software allows you to track conversions like contact form submission, events like download of the material, performance of your ads, and affiliate campaigns. And Google Analytics is no different. However, you need to know that these things are not tracked by default by Google Analytics. To actually see them, you need to set them up properly. Events are things like when someone clicks on the button, or download material, or share a blog post, or add or remove a product from the shopping cart. To track such things, you can paste the code manually, or you can do it with the help of Google Tag Manager. The process is similar to the implementation of the general Google Analytics tracking code, mentioned in the previous videos. Before you start implementation of the code, you should know that each event has a category, which is the name of the element you want to track, like a button or a video, and action, which is the type of interaction you want to track, like click or video play. Each event can have additional elements like label and value. Label is used for additional information, like the name of the video that is tracked or the name of the material that is downloaded. Value is a number that you can assign to the event, like monetary value. All the information you will provide for the event, category, action, label, and value will be visible in Google Analytics when the event will take place on your website. Let's see one of the methods of setting up event tracking.
With a manual way, you need to create a piece of code. Don't worry, it's very easy to do. You need to change the text in a couple of places, marked in red in the code template, and that's it. Let's see an example for material download. The name of the event is onClick, because it takes place when the download button is clicked. Then an equal sign, which indicates what will happen after button click. Then the whole code will be inside quotes to work properly. Type GA, which indicates Google Analytics. Open parentheses and type send in single quotes, because you want to send data to Google Analytics. Hit comma, event again in single quotes, because you want to send event data. And then, also inside single quotes, category of the event, which in this case is report, because after click you will download a report, comma, then action, again in single quotes, and action is download because you download a material after click. Label is optional, but we can include the name of the report to have more details. So comma, and the name of the report is Generate Money Online, in single quotes. We will skip value because we don't need that for download. We close the code with parentheses, semicolon, and quotes. Now we must paste this code in the source code of our website, where there is a link to our download material. You can do it yourself or ask a developer to do it for you. It would be inside hrefs HTML tag, so it would look like that. Please note that event tracking is a very robust area in Google Analytics. For example, for different event types, you would use different names. For example, for submission of contact form, you would use onSubmit. For login event type, you would use login name, and so on. Also, if you use WordPress shopping solutions like WooCommerce, for shopping event analysis, you would probably use Enhanced E-commerce plugin, but this is outside of the scope of this course. How to analyze events in Google Analytics? Open Behavior tab from the left panel, and then open Events tab and Top Events. Here you can see how many times each of your events took place. You can break it down by the category, action, label, and value if it was specified. You can draw an interesting conclusion. For example, that the report you prepared was downloaded many times, so there is a demand for that content, or that people are adding one particular product to the basket often, but are not finalizing sales. Maybe it is too expensive. You can also see pages which generated the most events by going to the pages. You can add a filter or secondary dimension to see which events exactly were generated on each page. Once you created your events, you can also create a group of users who performed a particular event, for example, a group of people who added a product to a cart. With that, you can analyze all statistics available in that group of people. To do that, click on Add New Segment, click on New Segment, and then Conditions. Type Event in the search bar. We are interested in event action Add to Cart, because this is the name of the action we specified. We name our segment People who added to cart, and we save it. Then if you visit any report, you will see data only for the group of people who added products to the cart. So for example, by going to the channels report, you can see that a very small amount of users from display ads added a product to the cart. If you spend money on it, maybe it is not an effective form of advertising for your website. If you want to see data for all users again, just remove the segment. This segment will be available to you in the Custom tab, so you can use it anytime.
Conversion is a situation when a visitor to your site takes an action you care about. It can be buying a product, sending out a contact form, or even spending more than 2 minutes on your blog post. First step in tracking conversion is to create goals. Goals are something you want to achieve, basically, your conversion.
Go to the Admin tab and then Goals. Click on Add a new goal. You can create a goal based on a template, which saves you time with configuration, Smart Goals, which will create goals automatically based on visits from engaged users, and Custom Goals, which gives you the most options, but it's more time consuming. Let's choose a template. Then the name of the goal. Let's create a goal for a purchase. Then you should choose a slot ID. In Google Analytics you can have up to 20 goals. For us, it is the first goal we create, so we will choose goal ID 1. If we create another goal, it will be goal ID 2, and so on. Now, the type of the goal. The goal can be any event you created. For example, the download report event, which we created in the previous video. Goal can be also connected with performance of your website. For example, if someone visits at least 3 pages on your website, or if someone spends at least 10 minutes on your website. Or a goal can be the destination. For example, if someone visits a particular page on your website. And this is something we will use for a purchase, because we know that after each purchase, a thank you page is displayed. We click Continue. Now we provide additional details. The address of our thank you page. Remember to type the address without your domain name. So for www.example.com/thankyou, you should only type /thankyou. You have an option to assign a monetary value to the conversion, and you can specify how you expect to receive traffic to this page to monitor user flow, but we will leave both options off. You can also verify how much conversions you had in the past 7 days. Once it's ready, click Save. You can see data about your conversions under Conversions and Goals. Here you can see data, how many times your goals have been completed. In other words, how many conversions you had. You can check it for all goals, which is default, or you can choose any particular goal. You can see on what page the conversion took place. One of the most useful reports is the source medium, when you see what is the reason your conversion occurred. Google Analytics will automatically track the source of each conversion, but you may want to be able to see more details. For example, what affiliate partner sent you the person who converted, or what advertisement is responsible for the conversion. To track this additional information, you should create something called Tracking URL Link. Type campaign URL Builder Google in the browser and click on the first result. To create tracking link, you must fill in some details. URL is the place where the user will be sent after clicking on the link. It can be a homepage of your website or any other page, like a specific product page. Campaign source is the source where the click on the link took place, like the affiliate or LinkedIn or Google Ads. Then the medium, which is the type of campaign, like display or CPC or newsletter. Then the name, where you can give more details, like the name of the affiliate partner, or the name of the creative, or any other details that will help you to correctly analyze data. Term and content are optional, but you can place even more information there, like a specific keyword that was used. Once you fill all required details, your tracking link will be generated.
Let's quickly create one for our affiliate partner and one for our Google advertising. First, affiliate. We fill the website URL, and it should be a full URL, https www.example.com. Source is affiliate. Medium is display because our affiliate partner will put a banner on its website. And the name will be John Doe, because this is the name of our partner. You can copy URL and send it to your affiliate partner. He will attach this link to the banner on his website. Thanks to that, you will know which client came from this affiliate partner, and you could pay a commission to the affiliate partner based on that. Now Google advertising example. We will add a contact in the URL, because we want to send people from ads to our contact page. Source is Google Ads. Medium is CPC. And the name of the campaign is Christmas campaign. Now we have a link which is ready to be used and sent to the person who manages Google advertising for our company. To check the sources for each conversion, you can do it inside the Goals tab. You can adjust dates as in any other report, and you can choose a particular goal. Then you will see, for example, what is responsible for generating the most sales on your website. Alternatively, if you want to see more data, you can create custom report, the option we covered in one of the previous videos in this chapter. As metric, you can choose Goal 1, users, visits, etc. And as a dimension, you should use source medium. This will give you the great overview. The next step would be to focus in your marketing efforts on the sources that brings the most conversion to your website. Okay, now you know how to analyze the most important statistics of your website in Google Analytics. In other software, the process is very similar. You first implement general tracking code on your website, implement event tracking if needed, and then you have access to all of these valuable reports. Available metrics are very much the same, like users, page views, and so on. In the next video, we will cover user behavior tracking with Hotjar tool. See you there!
You can set up your Google Analytics account to track most of the things that happen on your website, which is super useful, but you may also want to see interactions with your website in a more visual way, watch recordings of how the mouse moves and when it stops, and how individual people are exactly using your site. The best way to do that is to use one of the user behavior tracking tools. You can pick any of them according to your preference and budget. For example, Full Story, Crazy Egg, or Hotjar. We will use Hotjar as an example, as it is a trusted company and the tool is very simple to use.
First you need to visit www.hotjar.com, and then you can either log in or try the tool for free. Let's choose the second option. Enter your name and email address, or sign up with Google. Fill other details, like your role and the name of your company. Enter the address of your site. You will be placed in the main dashboard. As the second step, you need to install Hotjar tracking code. The process is very similar to what we covered for implementation of Google General Tracking Code. You can do it manually by copy-pasting the tracking code into the head section of every page you want to track. If you have Google Tag Manager, or if you use WordPress or any other platform on the list, you can see a detailed implementation guide. Once the tracking code is implemented, you can verify it by clicking on the Verify Installation button. On the left tab, you can see different options of analysis. We will take a closer look at heat maps and recordings, as these two have the most value for us. Heat maps are the visual representation of elements that are the most popular elements on any page on your website, which are marked with red color, and least popular elements, which are marked with blue color. To create a heat map in a heat map tab, click on the new heat map button. Name your heat map. It can be a name of the page that the heat map will be connected with. For us, it can be homepage heat map. Then the number of page views the data should be collected for. Of course, the more page views, the more reliable will be your data. Then enter the address of your page, in our case, the URL of our homepage. Click on Create Heatmap and Hotjar will start collecting data. Come back to your website after some time and you will be able to see whether collection of data was completed or not. Of course, you can see partial data too. Once you click on a heatmap, you will see the screenshot of your page with a color on it. For desktop, you can see 3 different heatmaps for each page: heatmap of clicks, heatmap of mouse movement, and heatmap of mouse scroll. For mobile devices, you will see heatmaps for tap and scroll. How can you draw conclusions for all of these heatmaps? First of all, because you see which areas of your page are the most clicked and thread moved, you should focus the most important information for your business exactly in those places. For example, if you see that the first position in the top menu is the most popular in terms of clicks and movements, and the most important position in the top menu is the one with your services, place services on the first position in the top menu. Secondly, if you see a scroll heatmap, you know exactly what percentage of users reach the certain point of your page. If a lot of people don't scroll to important things, move them up. If people don't scroll at all, maybe shorten your page. Lastly, after collecting the heatmap for the particular page, you can create alternative version of this page, for example, alternative version of homepage, collect data and compare which version of homepage helps you better in achieving your goals. Secondly, you can see recording of each person who visited your website when Hotjar data was collected. They are listed in the table and you can see from which country they are, what was the duration of the visit, and where the visit took place. And the best part, you can watch the whole recording. You see exactly how the visit went, where the user stopped, when the user scrolled, how the mouse moved. You can use this recording to verify your assumptions about how you thought your website is used by the users. You can identify any interesting patterns. By watching recordings, you can come up with a lot of improvements. For example, if many users stops in a particular place on the page, think what is the reason? Is it something interesting or is it something complicated? Also, you can delete or share any recording, add recording to favorites, and filter recordings to show only visits from particular countries or only visits which lasted more than 10 minutes. The other 2 options you can explore in Hotjar, they are also easy to set up, and I won't be covering them as they are less frequently used by the businesses. In the next video, I will show you how to identify companies who are visiting your website.
Your website is visited by both individuals and companies. If you are a B2B business, meaning you are selling products or services to other companies, you would probably like to know which exact companies visit your website. With that knowledge, you could contact them and present them your offer. If you are a B2C business, selling products or services to consumers, you still may be interested in such data to identify which competitors spy on you and identify potential partners who you could cooperate with. To check which companies visited your website, you use one of the company tracking tools, which are often part of the bigger lead generation solutions. There are some of them on the market, including Lead Forensics, Visitor Track, Kickfire, and Lead Feeder. We will use Lead Feeder as it's one of the simplest tools, and company tracking is its main purpose. You may ask, how do such tools identify what companies visited your website? They have databases of thousands of IP addresses of different companies. Each time a visitor is on your website, they check whether the IP of this visitor is within the database of companies. If there is a match, they return to you the information that a particular company visited your website and provide you additional details about the visit. Most tools provide you also the contact details to people who work in the company who visited your website.
To start using Leadfeeder, first visit the website leadfeeder.com. You can set up the account by clicking on the button in the top right. Then enter your email address and password. After that, give the name of your company and the address of your website. Then some personal details and some details about your business that will help with the configuration. The next step is to implement the tracking script on your website, and you are very familiar with the process already. It can be done manually by copying the code to the header of each page or by adding the code to the tag manager of your website, like Google Tag Manager. Once the code is properly implemented, you will see dashboard with all of the companies that visited your website. You can choose any period of time that is interesting for you. Each company on the list has a logo, location, and industry. Also, you can see color-coded bars on the left, which indicates the potential of a lead, calculated by the algorithm. Green is good, red is bad. Potential is higher if the visit was long, many different pages were visited, and a couple of other factors. But please bear in mind that sometimes it is inaccurate. Once you click on any company on the list, more information is displayed. For example, the website address, option to find the contacts on LinkedIn, the exact pages that were visited, and the people who work in this company, with an option to send them an email. If you run Google advertising, you will see what keywords have been used by the companies who visited your website. To make working with Lead Feeder more effective, you can create filters by clicking on the Create Custom Feed. For example, you are interested to see only companies from particular country, or companies who visited your website by at least 30 seconds. You can set it here, name your feed, save it, and have the ability to apply it in the future by choosing it from the Custom tab on the left. In the Settings panel, you can set notifications on your email, not to miss any lead. How to exactly benefit from Lead Feeder? Let's see an example. You see the particular company has visited your website. They spent almost 1 minute on the page describing the advertising training service your company provides. You know it was probably someone from the marketing department, because usually this department is responsible for advertising. You go through the list of available contacts and look for the ones that are the most suitable to contact. You write an email. Good morning. I've noticed that someone from your company has visited the website of my company. Looks like you need an expert who could provide advertising training for the team. This is exactly what we do, with more than 10 years of experience in the field. Let's chat about how we can take promotion of your company to the next level. Chances are, they will come back to you, and that you will generate the new business.
Tracking all of the visits that come to your website from different sources and interactions with your website is a key to successful digital marketing and advertising. But you should also monitor what is being said or written about your company on other websites, such as news websites, forums, or groups in social media. This is a barometer of how your company is perceived by the customers. You can react to any negative opinions and avoid the crisis in your image. You can find positive opinions and provide more of the things that your customers liked. There are of course dozens of companies that provide tools that allow brand monitoring or brand listening, like BrandWatch, Mention, or Brand24. We will use BoardReader and Google Alerts as examples, as they are free and quite useful. Just have in mind that most paid tools will give you more options than free tools, like calculating the amount of positive versus negative mentions, displaying only positive or only negative mentions, and allowing you to answer directly from the tool, at least for social media, so there is no need to visit each link separately.
First, let's visit boardreader.com. This tool crawls message boards, forums, and discussion panels. As there are millions of comments, it would be impossible to do it manually. Let's assume we are a Nike company. We type Nike into the search box. You can see a list of results at the bottom. They can be adjusted by the date, language, and domain. There is even an advanced search option to find exact phrases or to exclude some words. Once you click on any result, you are redirected to the source of the comment. You can react to it by posting your own answer. With Google Alerts, you will receive notifications on new mentions of your brand directly into your email. Go to google.com/alerts. At the top, you enter the name of your brand or term that is interesting for you for any reason. Let's assume again we are from the Nike company. Then you choose an email to which you would like to receive notifications. Then you have Show Options drop-down, where you can choose how often you would like to receive new notifications, from which sources, like blog or news sites, in which language, and from which region, and whether you want all results or only the best results chosen by the Google algorithm. Then below, you have a preview of the alerts that you will receive regularly. Of course, you can resign from the notifications anytime you want. Once you receive notification, you should react to it. If you see any inconsistency in the article about your brand, write to the author to correct it. If you see any forum topic about your brand, take part in a discussion and react to both positive and negative opinions and so on. Please note that depending on the number of mentions, it can be a very time-consuming task, so you may have to hire a person who would take care of this area of your business. Also, you should know that it is impossible to monitor the whole internet for every mention of your brand, so the most important parameter when you choose a tool is the number of sources the tool covers. Check a couple of them and see which gives you the most reliable results for your brand name before investing any money in a particular tool. Apart from brand monitoring, you should also take a wider perspective and check what are the overall trends, things that are popular at the moment, and that can be monetized by your company. You can also compare different trends and see how their popularity changes and which one you should focus on. There is a fantastic tool that is free, reliable, and very popular, and it is of course Google Trends. Go to google.trends.com. At the top right, you can choose the country you are interested in. Then you enter the search term or topic that you want to see data for. Let's assume we are from the United States and we are the owner of the big shop with t-shirts. We want to expand our range of products, and we think whether it will be better to produce t-shirts with the image of Kim Kardashian or Justin Bieber. So you type Kim Kardashian and choose it from the list. Then you click on the Compare button and search for Justin Bieber. Then you can adjust your results by changing date range or type of search. Let's not change it for this example. You can see that a couple of months ago, Justin Bieber was much more searched for. 100 gives you the maximum searches and all other data is relative to it. At the moment, they have similar number of searches in the US. Before you decide who should be included on your shirts, there are of course thousands of different factors, like what would be the price for the license, or why Justin Bieber was so popular in a week from 9 to 15 February. You can quickly check it on Google search engine. Type Justin Bieber, click on Anytime dropdown, choose Custom, and date 9 February to 15 February. Looks like the new song was released around that time, so it certainly has something to do with the popularity in search results. You can use Google Trends to identify topics and business opportunities for your company on a regular basis.